Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are looking at Lady Gaga's, what's it called? Lady Gaga's favorite makeup hacks. This is a video from Sephora's YouTube channel, so hopefully I don't get any copyright strikes. We'll see what happens. But we're gonna be watching her do her makeup, I assume. I actually haven't watched the video, but you have all been telling me to check it out and do a reaction video to it, so that's what I'm doing. Before we get into that, do please consider subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it or don't like it. Whatever you choose, I'm not gonna make you do anything you don't want to do. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram, and let's see what's going on. So I'm gonna approach this from if I was doing her makeup as a professional makeup artist, what I would do if I was her makeup artist. Okay, let's do it.
Ready?
Yes.
Everybody feel good?
Yes.
Hi everybody, this is Lady Gaga and I'm so excited for you to get ready with me. We are going to do a full face of Hause Labs today. We're gonna get started with our Triclone Skin Tech Concealer and
Can I just, sorry, just before we get into this whole thing, I just want to say, her and Selena Gomez, I think, are some of the only celebrities where I believe they actually use their own brands in terms of her makeup. I have tried Hause Labs and the products are incredible. The Triclone Foundation is one of my absolute favorites. So I'll leave a link to reviews down below or on the screen.
in shade 11, light neutral. I'm gonna start under the eyes and then I'm going to take the tip of the applicator and I'm just gonna kind of put it wherever I see redness on the face. And then I go into areas that I want to brighten even more. Done. Now I take our brush for concealer. It's a beautiful, beautiful brush that is shaped like a finger. This concealer has biotech caffeine in it, which depuffs under the eyes. Also, the fermented arnica that's in the concealer is helping reduce my redness while I wear it, which is one of my favorite things about it.
Listen, you know how, if any of you have watched my content, you know what I'm like when it comes to, say for example, a Kylie Jenner review of her product. A few things that I want you to watch out for, right? That I expect from a brand owner who has come up with his ideas about the product. Why the product has been created, what addition does it make to the brand other than it being a mascara? Why did you want to make a mascara? Other point, the benefits of the ingredients in the product, why you have chosen them, what separates it from other ones you've tried, or you know, what makes it so special, why your mascara is different.
We formulated this with grapeseed oil and pro vitamin B5. We are, of course, clean and vegan, and we made this safe for sensitive eyes. Okay, you guys ready?
Okay, but what about those two ingredients? What about them? Why did you formulate it with them? You know what I mean? Like if this was my brand, I would be like, vitamin whatever, because it does this, and I have never seen a mascara use that before, or not. My favorite mascaras have that in already.
This took, I would say, longer than a lot of products because I'm very, very picky about my mascaras. So I just feel like I wanted it to be perfect. I changed the wand a lot. Now I'm gonna
talk us through the one. Okay, so here's the deal, right? Listen, in my mind, right, I have a whole thing. If I was ever to make a mascara, I know exactly what it would look like, why it would look like that, the benefit of the wand looking like that. So far, it's like we chose loads of them. What was different about them? I don't feel like she was actually really there during that process. It is so nice to hear a celebrity talk about their brand and the benefits of ingredients in the product, why it's good for that area, even the brush, the shape of a brush, why it's shaped like that. How refreshing is it for a celebrity to actually know what is in there? Even, do you know what? I don't even care if she's reading it from an auto cue. It's just so nice to hear it, rather than, this is my foundation that I use. Oh my God, this is her foundation. This looks like an ad. It's not. I'll hold something else up. But this is my foundation I use because I like the foundation and it's a foundation and it gives me coverage. Okay. Okay, now what? Now what? Great. A few things I do want to say. So it's my personal preference on myself and on clients, when it comes to concealer, not under the eyes, you can do that whenever you want, really. The only time it makes a difference is if you want to brighten under your eyes. When it comes to concealer and spot treating different areas, I personally like to do that after foundation. Here's why though, unless it's color corrected. Do you color correct before? Foundation is going to give you some coverage, right? And then see how much coverage your foundation gives you before you start to conceal areas that need a little bit extra help. Your foundation might cover it, you might be surprised, but also you'll use less product. Yeah, and it'll look great. However, on the other hand, if you only have one concealer and that's all you want to do, and it's a brighter concealer, say for under your eyes, then go ahead and use it first, just for a little bit of extra coverage, because you don't want like light dots all over your face. But if you do have a concealer that's the same shade as your foundation, then do use it on top of your foundation, just to see, you know, you might not even need it.
So now I'm just gonna take my fingers and lightly press that in. So you see I've just brightened up my whole face. And if you want to, you can just go more natural like that. But today, I want to do a full face of Hause Labs. So I'm going to be using now our Triclone Skin Tech Foundation in shade 110. And I want you to see just how amazing the payoff is on the skin. And it just blends in beautifully with that concealer because they have very similar skincare products in them. You see now how we're getting that medium coverage, and this is buildable, so you can layer it more and more. I think that looks so pretty. I love it so much. Now, sometimes I use the rest on the brush just to get over my eyes. Okay, so this is...
So a light just randomly flashed down there. Love the different technique of tapping and wiping. I think we had told so many different times, like, oh, you have to apply your foundation this way. It has to be with a brush. It has to be with a sponge. It has to have a water base, otherwise the skin's gonna come off. It's just mix it up. Use your fingers. Fingers are fine. Tapping in, brushing around, beautiful. Love it. Foundation on the eyes, personally, again, I would stay away from. If I was doing clients and I wanted to guarantee longevity of the wear of the eye makeup, that makes sense, right? Just because some foundations do have more skincare benefits to it, it can hydrate an already oily area of our face and break down the eye makeup a bit.
That's where I am so far, but I'm also gonna put some foundation on my body just to even out the face with the chest, because I get red all over. And so I'm gonna take some of our foundation and I'm just going to use my hands and I'm just gonna rub it in. It has so many skincare ingredients in it that it's really easy to use. It sets just like a regular foundation.
Beautiful, because you know where it gets red, right? Your chest, your ears, your neck. And these are some areas that we often miss out when it comes to doing our makeup, especially weddings. If you are getting married anytime soon, if your hair is up, do the ears because they are going to look red in your pictures. Photographer's going to be taking pictures of you. You're going to have a nice even face. You're going to have a red chest, red neck, red ears. So do make sure you even that out. And you can even get foundations that are made for the body. So that's a really good tip also. Nice.
But better. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some warmth back in the face and I'm gonna use our Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer. This is shade Light Level 4. And I like to start actually by just tapping my brush here. I give it a little blow.
We know not to blow the brushes, right? You do know why you shouldn't blow brushes? It sounds really crazy, but maybe this is more a hygiene thing when you're working on other people. But there's a lot of bacteria in your mouth. There's a lot of stuff going on. And when you blow it into the brush, it's like a little grounds for, you know, bacteria to, like, you know, sex each other. Do bacteria reproduce? Am I bacteria? I don't even know if I'm saying the right thing. And then you're putting it into your product. I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds really petty, but it is a thing. So don't blow in your brushes. What you can do, go in your powder. Too much, tap it off like this. If you don't want to be wasteful, tap it in the palm of your hand and then go in and go back in the palm of your hand.
And then I start sort of on the outside and work almost in a straight line in, which I know is not how everybody does it, but I like to start my contour sort of towards the nose. What's so nice about this powder is it doesn't even go on like a powder. It's extremely smooth and extremely easy to blend. I'm doing this side of my face first. I'm gonna sculpt underneath the chin, the jawline, blend in a little bit more here, just so you can see the difference. This bronzer is velvety. It is extremely smooth. It's a gel powder and it's beautiful to wear. And then I just go in at the end and I just go ham.
that's a nice brush, I think, for powders. I do prefer my bronzing brushes to be a tiny bit denser than that in terms of it being more solid in the bristles, because I feel like when you're bronzing, it's nice to get some precision in there. It's not something you have to be precise with, but I think if we are using it to carve out cheekbones and things like that, I think it's nice to use. You know what I would even use? I know this is their foundation brush, I have it here, but the Hause Labs foundation brush I think is beautiful for bronzer. Let me just show you what I mean. This isn't the Hause Labs bronzer, this is the Patrick Tar one, but I would put, oh, I have bronzer on already. Oh, you can see. See, I quite like being able to sculpt out that area and then move my hand further down here because it gives you less pressure, and then buff that in like this up here to give more pressure. And then down. This is a great brush for bronzer. Whereas if you have quite a big brush like this, I like these for face powders and things like that. Can you see how the hairs kind of, they're quite, what's the word? Swishy, they're swishy. So you can get, but see how much it splays out. Even with a lighter hand, you get quite a lot of movement with that brush. So I do prefer the control of a denser brush for bronzer. Just an opinion, you can use whatever you want, of course. Some people are used to the big brushes, but I do prefer denser ones.
The most important thing when you're doing your makeup is that you feel good about you from the inside out. Sometimes I'll do my makeup and, you know, it's really just for me. So now I'm actually going to go in with some blush, but I'm going to make our blush today using some high power pigment paint. This is shade Blush Matte. And I'm going to do something fun that I love to do, which is I'm going to use our shade 000 Fair Neutral. It's a white foundation, and I'm going to mix just one pump on my hand with this Blush Matte paint. Before I apply it, I'm going to take a little bit of the white on my finger by itself. And I'm actually going to put it on the highest points on my face just to add a glow without using any pearl. So this is a great way to highlight the face for a really dewy look. Look at that. Yeah. So now I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to make our blush on my hand. This is packed with plant squalane, which is so good for your face. I'm just going to put it here on the apples of my cheeks as well as the high point of my cheekbone. Really, you should just put your blush where you like your blush. Everybody likes their blush in different places. And you see how now there's sort of a nice blending that's going on with both the bronze.
Love it. I love that. That looks great. I want that white one. I have 4 of these foundations, by the way, for different lighting situations. That's how much I love this foundation. It is like the best foundation that's been released for a long time. That looks stunning. That looks really, really good. What a great idea to mix blush in with the foundation. I'm going to try that with just regular foundation, see how it goes. That's really nice. I like that. And I love the placement as well. She has quite even, like, the cheekbones are quite strong, and the apples of her cheeks are quite, in comparison, a little bit flatter. So it's not, like, not flat, that's not the word, like, not like mine, where it's like, so it's nice to use that whole area to even it out. That looks beautiful.
Sir. And the blush sort of becomes this ombre effect that's extremely creamy and glowy and good for you. For now, that's enough blush for me. I'm going to go in, though, with our Bio Radiant Gel Highlighter. This is in shade Peach Quartz. So I'm going to apply the Bio Radiant Gel Highlighter now with my fingers. I'm just going to go on the cheekbone. You see how beautiful that glow is? Not patchy, not a lot of glitter. You can go down the nose if you want. I have a lot of real estate to put this on my nose. I like to put a little in the height of my brow bone, sort of like an eyeshadow. Little here and a little, of course, on your Cupid's bow.
Great placement. It's always nice. She's just moving her head around a lot, which I really, really like to see, where light catches the face naturally. Doing the key points, yes, the nose, the cheekbones, all that kind of stuff, but you can see she's leaning in and really making a choice where she's going to pop those areas. That's really nice. I haven't tried that powder with a finger. I would worry myself and think that maybe the product underneath is going to come off. But light-handed, I'm sure it looks fine. That looks beautiful.
Now I'm going to take rose quartz and use it a little bit like a blush. And just to tie the look together, I'm going to take this beautiful peach quartz and I'm going to put it back on my finger and I'm going to apply it to my collarbone and my neck And then my favorite. I actually like to do my neck, chest, and arm makeup while I do my regular makeup.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to start the eyes. And I'm going to use our amazing high power pigment paint again in beige matte. So I'm gonna put some on my hand and take a brush like this and just smooth it over the eyes as a primer. And I like a little bit more grip for the eyeshadow, which this is gonna give me.
That makes a beautiful eye primer. I've used that before as an eyeshadow primer. Really, really nice. It can be, if you're not used to using eye primers and you're more a concealer person, it can be a bit, the texture is very different. So it can take a little bit of time to figure out what you're doing in terms of blending on top, but it's a really, really good product. I really like these.
Now, I'm going to take some of my bronzer with that same brush, and I'm just gonna carve out my crease. You can do as much or as little of this as you want. I honestly always do my makeup how I feel in the moment. Sometimes when I put pressure on myself to do makeup in a particular way, I can end up not being happy with it when it's done. So I just go with how I feel and I finish when I feel ready.
Have you ever spent ages and ages and ages doing your makeup? You know, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna just take my time, do it. I want to do this look, and then it's just been terrible. And then you take it off really quickly and you just redo it again really quick and it's perfect. That's exactly, that happens to me all the time.
I'm gonna pull that out just a little bit. See, just to create that line right there. And it just lengthens out the eyes. Okay, now I wanna keep amplifying this look a little bit more. So I'm going to be using this pigment paint in Cocoa Matte and also Rose Gold Shimmer. I'm gonna start with Cocoa Matte, and I'm just gonna use a little bit on my hand. This teeny tiniest little bit. I'm gonna take the same brush. I'm just gonna blend it into my crease. And sometimes, just to give it some really good warmth and playtime, I just use my finger to blend it out quickly. And I just start to cut the crease a little bit on the side. And it's okay to mess up. You can always fix it. Now I'm going to use another one of our gel powder highlighters in Chocolate Opal. And I'm going to use this fluffy brush and just work it in.
That is another thing about those paints. They do dry down quite quickly. She's not finished her eyes yet, so I'm not saying she isn't going to do this. But on the areas around here, you know what I would do? If that hasn't blended out quite how you want it, I would take a bronzer, like an eyeshadow, and just use it and buff out just around the edges, unless you're going for the hard shape.
To that same sort of creased area, just to give it some extra shine. And you'll see how I'm going to pump up the volume next. I'm now going to take our rose shimmer, just put a little bit on the hand, put some on your finger, and pop it in the center of the lid. Love it. I love makeup. All right. I'm going to take our concealer again to do something else that our concealer does, which is clean up. So I'm going to drag it just under the eye in the shape that I want the shadow to be. And that's super easy to do. Okay, I'm going to have some of my tea because I have to stay hydrated during this marathon. Okay, now I'm going to sharpen.
That is such a good tip. That's what I always do. People always ask me how I get the wings of my eyeshadow so sharp, and it's literally concealer on a sharp... Oh, I'm getting an eye twitch. Can you see? What am I stressed about? Oh, my finger's twitching. Everything's twitching. So I use, for example, this is an amazing one. This is the 4D HD Precision Brush from Sigma. So you can use it for your concealer here, but then, because it has this pyramid shape to it, you can literally cut off your eyeshadow. It works even with black eyeshadow. I do it all the time. Much better than using like micellar water or makeup remover that can kind of bleed into your eye makeup and start to fade the edges away. It keeps the edge nice and sharp.
The eye using our Optic Intensity Eco Liner in Deep Cocoa Matte, and I'm going to apply it to my lash line. I'm going to extend it along the line that I just cleaned up, flip it over where there's a brush, and just blend away. So I just put on some mascara off camera to see where my look is, and I think I just love it this way. I think it's beautiful. Before I put on my lipstick,
that kind of brown, that warm brown on a blue eye, a green eye, a grey eye is stunning. It just brings out the colour, the redness in the brown. It brings out it's just light colours. It always looks so good. If I'm in a rush doing someone's makeup or they're in a rush, or say you're doing a wedding, right? And only the bride has booked you, and like two of the bridesmaids and the mother of the bride comes over, and the mother of the bride, and then like you always get the auntie, right, who comes over to you, looks through your kit. I wish I booked someone to do my makeup for today, but I'll just have to do my own. And you're like, okay, I'll do it. Sit down. If they have blue or green eyes or grey eyes, brown eye pencil all around, smudge it out, a little bit of champagne on the lid, some mascara, done. Easy, and it looks really effective just because of your eye color.
Now to finish off my look, I'm going to start by using our eyeliner as a lip liner in shade Deep Cocoa Matte. I like to use this as a lip liner because it's so creamy. Instead, we're going to use our Atomic Shake Lip Lacquer in Sepia. I love this color so much. It's perfect for fall. And I'm just going to apply it to the lip in an even coat.
So I need to show you the TikTok. So when I saw this product, this Atomic Shake product, I was like, bullshit. No way is it going to be glossy, stay on the lip, right? And then also when you touch it and blot it, it stays glossy. That's not a thing. I tried it and it did exactly that, and I was like, this is insane. I'm glad there's some nude colors. I want like I want flesh color in that so I can use it because I don't wear bright color. It is amazing. I'll put it in here so you can see. So everyone seems to be so incredibly impressed with this Hause Labs Atomic Shake Lip Lacquer. Now, for those of you who know me, I am not the person to pretend I am overly impressed by a product or pretend a product does something when it doesn't. So when I saw people saying that this was glossy but long lasting and didn't transfer, I was like, BS. BS, let me try it. I'm giving it a good shake. This is the shade Rose Shine. Not a color I would wear normally, but testing purposes, I will. So you can't touch your lips together, I've seen, for like 15 seconds. I hooked up here, I'm too scared to fix it. Okay, so it's been a bit longer than 15 seconds. I've seen people do it and they're like, oh my god, it really lasts. I'm gonna go full in. Well, shit. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Wow, okay. I was like, no way, no way, no way. We need some nude colors in this. This is good. This is really good. So unless someone is coming up to your lip and aggressively wiping it, I don't think this is gonna come off. Maybe oil when you're eating might break it down a little bit, but wow, nice.
I hope you like my final look. Thank you so much for getting ready with me. I love you all so much. And I have to give a ton of credit to all the influencers all over these platforms. You guys do this all day long, 3 times a day, 4 times a day. You're amazing at it, and I thank you so much for supporting me while I do it. And
That's so cute.
now for the ultimate test of when you are wearing our Atomic Shake Lip Lacquer for a night out on the town this fall or winter.
Do it.
Won't even get on your glass. Cheers.
And it's glossy still. That is what blew my mind about this product. It is still glossy. How do they do that? How do they do that? It doesn't make sense in my brain. It doesn't make sense. Gloss transfers. Gloss comes off. Gloss is sticky. It comes off. It's right there. It's right there. And I honestly went into that review to call it out, to call out everyone's BS. And I couldn't. Because it was real. Don't know what else to say. Really, really beautiful. I am, what am I going to say? One thing I would change, there's little things that I would change, like blowing on a brush, which doesn't really matter if you're not doing it on clients, you're just doing it on yourself. But again, as growing up, ever since I was a child makeup artist, being in the makeup industry for so long, that's just something that is drilled into me. I just think it's a really beautiful look. How nice. I don't know what else to say. What do I say? Oh, she hasn't done false lashes either. She's got really good lashes. Okay, well, that was really, really good. I really liked that. Let me know your opinions below. I do have some reviews on Hause Labs products, which I will leave down below for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Do consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on TikTok for exclusive content that you won't see here on YouTube. I have a whole playlist here of reaction videos, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.